Alright, today let's start by inspecting different components of the guitar. We'll start by inspecting the neck. Whether you're buying new or used, doesn't matter. The neck is one of the most important components, and you want to make sure that it's straight. You want to make sure that the fret wire is in good shape, that the fret wire is not detached, and that there's no twist to the neck. So the basic way about going about this is to check straightness, use the strings as a straight edge. They're already under tension, they're already perfectly straight. What you want to do is just compare the side of the neck, which is what I call a pipe. You're going to just take the guitar, hold it right up here at eye level, and look straight down the neck. From this point to the nut, you're just going to want to kind of eyeball it and make sure that the neck is straight. Now if there's a little bit of a bow going forward where the headstock's up, that's okay. You can always adjust that by just tightening up the truss rod a little bit, loosening the strings, and that can be very easily taken care of. You want to stay away from guitars that actually have a back bow to them. That takes a little bit more repair work, and you basically just want to stay away from them. There are problems with those. So look right down the side, compare it with the strings, and then do it on the other side also right here. That'll help you determine if there's a twist or any other issues. So just kind of look at it, make sure everything's nice and straight, and again, if you've got a slight up bow, that's okay. Staying away from the back was a good thing. If you're buying a new guitar, it shouldn't have one. If you're buying a used guitar, it usually kind of shows that there's more issues or the guitar has had some damage to it. Looking for a twist in the neck, I got an old project neck that I did some work with, and I want to zoom in and I kind of want to show you what it kind of looks like. When you're looking at the neck on a guitar, you should be able to tell if there's a twist by comparing the headstock with the rest of the neck. I'm hoping you can see this. You can just kind of tell that this section of the headstock is kind of twisted up. I've done some repair work to the neck and everything, and it's a project neck that it kind of just hangs out in my shop now to show how to do fret jobs. But we'll zoom out from this. I just wanted to show you that. The way to check that also too is again, hold on to the guitar or set it on a table and just compare the nut and the headstock to the way it goes into the rest of the body, and compare it to the bridge down on the body. And this one looks pretty good. If there is a slight twist, no guitar is perfect, especially the used ones. If you are looking to buy new, you really want to make sure that that is like perfect. Next thing we want to do is just inspect the neck pocket on the body. Neck pocket right here, if we can zoom in on this. This is really, it tells the story of if the guitar's ever really been hit hard or tipped over out of a stand. If there's any chips here in the finish, or if there's any chunks of the body actually missing, it means that the guitar probably either the neck wasn't set properly in there or it got a side blow or dropped. You want to check both sides. You also want to check the back, and you want to make sure that that whole pocket is clean. Okay? And while we're back there, you also want to just kind of check the back of the neck, because if it has tipped over, there should be a ding or a dent or maybe a chip in the finish that'll tell you that maybe this thing's had a little bit of abuse. This one is basically a brand new guitar, and it really does look clean. I hope we were able to show that on the video. Next thing we want to check is the fretboard in conjunction with the neck. Now, I'm just going to lay this here, and you want to check both sides of the fretboard. Okay, usually, especially with maple necks, it's kind of hard to see, but most necks are a two-piece construction, and they'll have like a hard rock maple back, or they'll have like a ebony or maple fretboard or rosewood fretboard, and there's just a line where it's been glued together. And you want to check that, and you want to make sure that there are no gaps, cracks, or stress fractures. And again, you're going to want to check that on both sides of the neck. Don't be afraid to get down and check too. You can also see right here if there's going to be more of a bow in the center. That's another way of checking the bow. this guitar being brand new looks really good, but again, you want to always check and make sure, because if there's a split there, eventually, with temperature change and a lot of other things that go on by putting it in and out of cases, bringing it inside, outside, and going to gigs, that if there's a crack there, will end up splitting and your fretboard will end up pulling, and that'll give you some problems. One other thing you want to check is the condition of the fret wire, especially on used guitars. You know, new guitars will come and sometimes they come out of the box and there might be a ding or two in them. Be aware that that does happen, especially if you're ordering from like mail catalogs and you haven't really inspected the guitar in person until you pull it out. Used guitars, depending on how much use and if the guy's a rhythm player or a lead player, you'll find that you have small divots in your frets. Now, to check this, all you got to do is like take a couple of fingers and pull it off to the side and just kind of see what's lying under the string. And again, being that this is new, there are no divots and it looks really good. But rhythm players, and if you've played guitar for many years, the strings actually do dig into the fret wire a little bit. That can cause buzzing, because you might have some frets that are a little bit more proud than others, because some will have the divots, some won't. And you want to check those all the way up. Check for corrosion, check for divots. Another thing you want to do is kind of run your hand down the side. On a lot of inexpensive import guitars, they don't take the time at the factory to kind of file the edges down, and I can even see it on my finger just by running up and down the neck that they haven't been dressed properly and they just stick out just a little bit and they're a little bit abrasive to your fingers. On the higher end expensive guitars, you know, that you're not going to have those issues. But that's how you really want to go about checking out the neck. Check for straightness. You know, check your hardware out too. Make sure that there's no corrosion on it. Check the fretboard, the fret wire. You'll know what you're getting into. So I hope that's given you a little bit of insight on what you want to look at on a guitar neck, and will help you with your next purchase.